Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to welcome all the honored guests tonight. We have a lot of families tonight. We have some new trustees that are going to be sworn in. So let's get started. Can I have Mr. Rick Lovato please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move to item 1.9. Pam?
Okay. Item 1.9, Board of Trustee Business. Item 1.9.1, the Board of Trustees will conduct the official swearing in and administering of the oath of office to the newly elected members of the Board of Trustees in District 4, Ms. Christina R. Sanchez, District 5, Dr. Carmen Olivas Graham, and District 6, Ms. Nina Pina.
All you family members, get your cameras out.
So we can swear in.
Okay, Dr. Ritter, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Carmen Olivas Graham,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully
that I will faithfully
execute the duties
execute the duties
of the office of trustee District 5,
of the office of trustee District 5,
El Paso County Community College
El Paso County Community College District
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So sweet.
Congratulations again. All right, next.
Go ahead and go over and pick up the sign by Ms. Haggerty. Mr. Haggerty.
I want to recognize Judge Samaniego. Judge.
Okay, you ready? Raise your right hand. I state your name.
I, Christina R. Sanchez,
Do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
that I will faithfully execute the duties of the office
of Trustee District 4, El Paso County Community College District
of District 4 of the El Paso Community College District
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will do to the best of my ability
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve,
preserve,
protect, and defend the Constitution
protect, and defend the Constitution
and laws of the United States
and the laws of the United States,
and this state, so help me God.
so help me God.
You're always taking care of. This is Pina.
Ms. Pena?
I state your name,
I, I, Nina Piña,
do solemnly swear or affirm
do solemnly swear or affirm
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office
of the office
Trustee District 6,
Trustee District 6,
El Paso Community College District
El Paso Community College District
of the State of Texas,
of the State of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution of laws of the United States
the Constitution and laws of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state,
so help me God.
so help me God.
And I'd like everyone to know the young man swearing these ladies in tonight is our county judge, Judge Samaniego. Now, after we swear the trustees in, we take a vote on who the new officers will be for the next 2 years. So Pam, could you read 1.9.2?
Yes, sir. Item 1.9.2, discussion and action on the election of Chair of the Board of Trustees.
If I could start? I think this is an exciting time. We have a handful of new board members here. Very excited to be here. Obviously, Chair Judge Haggerty, thank you very much for serving as chair in the interim since Chair Fierro had left. We really appreciate it. I know that you, Dr. Graham, Ms. Robles have been longtime members here of the Community College Board. You have had served with great dignity, and you've done a great job in terms of being really a leader on this board, so I really appreciate that. With that said, I think in terms of leadership and things of each one of us, of what we do and who we represent, each one of us represents a very specific district here in El Paso County. We have been voted upon by our constituents to serve in a very important role, and each one of us has really risen to that level of leadership. And with that said, I think that as part of that leadership and as part of that training and as part of putting forth really a different leader, a different kind of leadership role or chairmanship role with the board, I think it would be a good idea, and my recommendation would be to have, and I would make a motion to move to have Ms. Bonnie Nájera serve as the chair of the board. And the reason for that would really be she is new. She's been here for a couple of years. I think it's really important that we train our new leadership who has served here. She's been here for 2 years. I really think she deserves that chance and that opportunity to serve in that leadership role. I have been very impressed with her leadership with the board and, of course, with the community. I know that she's a single mom. She has daughters that are in the district. She's invested in this district, and she's been an amazing person on this board that I really look up to and really admire her service. And so I think with that said, I just made the motion for her to serve in that role. And I think with your all's guidance and leadership as well, who have been here, who have served here, you all could provide that assistance and that leadership for her. And so with that, I'd make that motion.
We have a second? Okay, no second. Any other motions?
Second?
You did second? Okay. Call the question.
You have to go ask for.
I rise to a point of order.
Thank you.
We're in nominations. You have to call for nominations 3 times. And at that point, if nobody else is nominated, then a motion would be in order to close nominations. But I believe, Mr. Chairman, that you have to call for nominations 3 times.
Okay, do we have any other nominations?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I would like to nominate Judge Haggerty to continue serving as chair of the board.
I would second that.
Do we have any other nominations? That would be 3. All right. All in favor for Bonnie Nájera?
I move that nominations cease at this time.
Second.
Call the question, Pam?
Give me 1 second. Mr. Uxer.
What are we calling?
We're not voting on nominations being ceased.
Cease, yes.
C, yes.
Ms. Sanchez.
Yes.
Mrs. Robles.
Yes.
Ms. Pena.
Yes.
Ms. Nahara.
Yes.
Dr. Graham.
Yes.
Mr. Haggerty.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. All in fa-
Nominations are ceased.
Okay, all in favor for Ms. Nara? Call the question, Pam.
Okay, this is a vote to vote for Ms. Nahara. Mr. Uxer.
No.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles.
No.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
No.
Mr. Haggerty.
No. No.
Okay.
Okay, all in favor of Brian Haggerty? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
No.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. Thank you all very much.
Mr. Haggerty will serve as board chair.
Okay, read number 1.9.3, please.
Item 1.9.3, discussion and action on the election of vice chair of the Board of Trustees.
Do you have any nominations?
I nominate Ms. Cristina Sanchez.
Do you have a second? Do we have any other nominations?
I nominate Carmen Olivas Graham.
Do we have any other nominations? Okay, do I have a motion to cease the nominations?
So made.
Second.
Call the question?
Mr. Uxer. This is to cease nominations.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez, this is to
to close-
cease nominations.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Nominations are ceased.
Okay. All in
Okay.
favor of Ms. Sanchez? Call the question, Pam.
Mr. Uxer.
No.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles.
No.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye. I'm
Mr.
sorry,
Haggerty.
this-
Wait.
I'm sorry.
This is on voting for Cristina Sanchez for vice chair.
No.
Mr. Haggerty.
No.
Okay.
All in favor of Dr. Graham? Call the question, please.
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
No.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye. Congratulations.
Item 1.9.4, discussion and action on the election of secretary of the Board of Trustees.
Do we have any nominations?
I nominate Belen Robles.
Do we have any other nominations? Do I have a motion for nominations to cease?
So made.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Call the question?
Mr. Uxer.
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles.
Aye.
Ms. Pena.
Aye.
Ms. Nahara.
Aye.
Dr. Graham.
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Nominations are ceased.
Your new board?
I think you have to have another motion to accept by acclamation. Is that correct, Mrs. Robles? If there are no other further nominations, wouldn't there be a motion to accept?
You need
Okay,
to,
call the question. Motion to accept. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye, and I think the motion is to appoint Ms. Robles as the secretary of the board. Is that correct? It's not to accept. That's correct? Okay.
Accept by
Aye.
acclamation.
Yes, thank you.
Mrs. Robles?
aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nájera?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 1.95.5, discussion and action on the selection of a meeting schedule for the regular meetings of the Board of Trustees. Just for point of reference, this is something that happens every 2 years when we have a full board elected, and the board decides what day they would like to hold meetings on as best as scheduled.
I think the Wednesdays are working well for most of us, aren't they?
You- That's fine. For me, I just know that the June, I believe it's, when's the June schedule?
June, I believe it's the 26th.
Wednesday, June 26th. That date does not work for me, and I really would like to be a participant in that meeting because it is the first budget session hearing. So if you all don't mind at least having that meeting maybe on the 27th?
I think if we agree on Wednesdays, then as
can change.
certain
Okay.
times come about,
Perfect. Okay.
we decide on, possibly because either some people are not available or
Okay.
traveling, and then we adjust.
Sure. Okay, that would be great. And Wednesdays then, from here on out, are perfect for me.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. This is a vote on making the board meetings the fourth Wednesday of each month?
Fourth Wednesday.
Correct.
Fourth Wednesday. Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nájera?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye. So we're going to go back to the 1.3, Pam?
We need to go to item 1.9.6 and 1.9.7. We have a gentleman here that is going to speak on those two items. So item 1.9.6
And
is,
he has to leave, so we're going to move you up there. Come on.
item 1.9.6, discussion and action to authorize Dr. William Serrata to execute a letter of support and/or no objection on behalf of the college for a minor boundary modification application to Foreign Trade Zone number 68 with TVL Incorporated.
Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you for allowing me to come forward to the board for the community college. The Foreign Trade Zone is a program that's been around since 1934, and it's used to help the economic growth of our city and our county by creating the opportunity for businesses to be more internationally competitive. And so what we want to do is we want to move some of these virtual boundaries that exist today around two other businesses. The first one up is TVL, and the second one is Caesar Scott. And this will allow them to grow their business and add more jobs to our community by being able to partake in the Foreign Trade Zone program. But in order to do that, we need the support of all of the taxing entities, the community college being one of them, to support that we move these boundaries so we can bring these two companies into the program.
Any questions?
Was only the first item read in terms of the FTZ zone, or was it both of them? Because he's asking for approval.
It's just 1.9.6.
There's
I
two of
thought
them.
there were
Okay.
two, yeah, I was confused. Are there two of them?
They're two separate ones.
Two separate items.
And this is just, you want to discuss 1.97? Is it, what's the
The
difference?
second one is Caesar
Has
Scott.
it been read into the record?
It has not been read yet.
Okay, I think it needs to be read into the record.
Item 1.9.7, discussion and action to authorize Dr. William Serrata to execute a letter of support and/or no objection on behalf of the college for a minor boundary modification application to Foreign Trade Zone number 68 with Caesar Scott Incorporated.
Yep, and this is a manufacturing company that's located down on Cotton Street. Excuse me. And they also want to get involved in the program because they want to expand their business, and this allows them to save money on customs duties and they can put that money back into the business and add more jobs and add more manufacturing. So these are two separate items because there has to be two separate letters. These go to the Department of Commerce with our application for this minor boundary modification. And so I'd like to request your support for both of these items.
Any questions?
I make a motion that we approve both 1.96 and 1.97.
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Now we
Thank
can
you.
go back.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Would you like me to go ahead and finish with 1.9.8 or go
We're
back?
there, we might as well finish 1.9.
Item 1.9.8, discussion and action to approve an amendment to Dr. William Serrata's employment contract to allow the investment of his approved annuity through an Internal Revenue Code 403B plan.
Move to
Move to
approve.
approve.
Have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez,
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.4, approval of minutes for the meetings of April 24th, 2019, Facilities and Finance, and April 24th, 2019, regular meeting.
Move to approve.
Before we move, I do have an edit on one of the motions. On the backup, at least on the old copy that I was provided, it's on page 15, and the action item was discussion and take appropriate action on pending litigation styled Elizabeth Ulgan, Ryan versus El Paso Community College, et cetera. The motion as written in the minutes is a motion to approve under the terms discussed in executive session. The appropriate motion that I had made was motion to approve settlement agreement between Elizabeth Ulgan Ryan versus El Paso Community College and the El Paso Community College District Cause Number 2018 DCB 1396 under the terms as discussed in executive session. And it's with that edit that I would second Dr. Graham's motion.
We'll get it corrected.
Okay.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Abstain.
Ms. Nahara,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.6, open forum. There's no one that signed up, Judge.
At this time, does anybody want to make any statements to the board? Okay. Go ahead to 1.7.
Item 1.7, presentation by individuals, groups, and organizations. Item 1.7.1, Dr. William Serrata, college president, will recognize individuals who have retired from the college district.
Chair Haggerty, members of the board, we have one retirement, and Ms. Dolores Margie Pavia will join me, please. There she is. So Ms. Pavia was born here in El Paso. A gentleman never tells, so I'm not going to read that part, Ms. Pavia. She graduated from Gadsden High School in 1979 and continued her education at New Mexico State University, where she earned her associates in business administration, a bachelor's in business administration and computer systems from the University of New Mexico, and a master's in business association from the University of Texas at El Paso. Margie has been married to Fred Pavia for 32 years, child bride. Together they have raised 3 beautiful children, Vincent, Jacqueline, and Sarah Pavia. Among the years, Margie has used her education to fulfill programming positions at the University of New Mexico State University, University of Texas at El Paso, and here at El Paso Community College. She was a Diamond Award recipient in 2016 and a graduate of the Leadership Academy class of 2011. Margie will be leaving our Information Technology Division as she goes into retirement after 13 years of service here at El Paso Community College. On behalf of her team, they would like to thank her for all her hard work and wish her the best of luck on her new journey. Thank you so much for your years of service.
Congratulations. Item 1.7.2, Mr. Ed Stansberry, Director of Operations of the Greater El Paso Football Showcase, will present a plaque to the Board of Trustees for EPCC's support of the El Paso Athlete Hall of Fame banquet.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Sarata. I am Ed Stansberry. I'm the new president for the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame. I'm joined by some of our officers, our banquet coordinator, Cindy Spitz, and our treasurer, Mr. Wayne Thornton. And this was the first year we had our induction banquet here at EPCC earlier this month, and it was a terrific success. It's such a special venue for us and for our inductees. So on behalf of the El Paso Athletic Hall of Fame and our membership, we want to present you this plaque. And I'll go ahead and read this for you. It's a special thanks presented to the El Paso Community College in appreciation for your outstanding contributions in making our Hall of Fame event a success. May 8th, 2019. Thank you guys very much.
Tell the judge to tilt his head so it doesn't.
Tilt it forward.
On item 1.7.3, the student athletes were unable to attend tonight, so we ask that this item be able to be presented next month.
Do you have a motion?
The motion would be to postpone for 1 month.
Second.
Call the question?
Mr. Uxer,
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez.
Aye.
Mrs. Robles,
Aye.
Ms. Pena,
Aye.
Ms. Nájera,
Aye.
Dr. Graham,
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty.
Aye.
Item 1.7.4, optional presentations will be made by the presidents of the Classified Staff Association, the Professional Staff Association, the Faculty Association, and the Student Government Association.
Hello, good afternoon. So I have a PowerPoint presentation for you all. So, yeah. So first of all, I'd like to congratulate all the board members who were elected or re-elected, so congrats. These are very important positions, and we look forward to working with you all. And so it is an absolute honor to deliver our end-of-year report after a very effective year. My mission this year was to empower my team to stimulate a little bit of innovation and to ensure that SGA maintains a firm voice when it comes to issues that are important to us. My mission was simply to lead an effective SGA because that is what EPCC students are capable of. Here is a report of everything we worked on this year during my presidency. All right, so, okay, oh, here it is. All right, so innovation. So here are a couple of things that we did differently. We reinvented the SGA logo through an engaging graphic design contest to give a new face to SGA. Internally, we implemented a Member of the Month award within SGA. I believe that recognition is so empowering. And I also encourage my members to undertake special projects so they can pioneer their interests and they can really promote SGA within the college community. And we also implemented an SGA presidential binder so we can pass on information to presidents, the next presidents. And like I mentioned, I started special projects because I wanted to have my members an opportunity to do something that they want to do. Because if it's something that they care about, they'll be more than willing to have leadership in that. And so here are all the special projects that we did throughout the year. On November 30th, we hosted our Southwest Conservation Project to facilitate conversations about conservation. On February 1st, 2019, we hosted our first Friday Art and Music Show to give our students a platform so they can display their abilities in the arts. On March 27, 2019, we co-hosted our Women's Day event to spread awareness on women's issues. And on April 22nd, 2019, we co-hosted a personal finance workshop in collaboration with a club to spread awareness and teach students about personal finances like 401ks, how to save, how to budget, stuff like that. And so, again, this really helped us with visibility. And again, my members had an opportunity to spearhead something. And so those were our special projects. We also believe in civic engagement. We definitely believe that society progresses through participation, through civic participation. And so we organized 6 candidate forums for local races throughout the year, which included the trustee debates. So for those of you that attended, thank you. We registered over 250 students to vote, and we invited several organizations to conduct voter registration drives. So us alone, we registered 250 students to vote, but these organizations registered hundreds of students. Organizations like Battleground Texas, Voter Latino, the League of Women Voters, and the County Elections Office. And we also presented in government classes over the importance of civic engagement because, again, it's so important. And we believe in teaching our students about why it's so important and why they should start building these habits and participating in the civic process. We also really, our student clubs and organizations are the backbone for student engagement. And so any way we can support them is absolutely important. And so what we did is we voted to increase the maximum amount of funds students, clubs, and orgs can request from $2,500 to $3,000, which is a 20% increase. We also conducted an outreach campaign, and we personally visited over half of all the student clubs and organizations, which is like 25. And we just lent them an open ear. We asked them what their concerns were, we wanted to be visible. We wanted them to know who we are and what we do, and so we were proud to have done that. It did take us a little while, but again, our student clubs and orgs are so important, so we were so proud to do that. College policy and procedure advocacy. And so one of our more important roles is to ensure that students have a voice, that students have a seat at the table when it comes to conversations within the institution. And so we were able to successfully reach a solution for college procedure 410.710, student travel, for it to be more flexible in just 1 year. It is still some loose ends to tie up regarding insurance and whatnot, but we made a lot of progress with this college procedure, and we were happy to have done that. And we also continue advocating for EPCC to become a smoke-free, tobacco-free college. This is something that we talked about for a while now, and we were able to mobilize students, staff, faculty, and members of the community to express their concerns over the college's smoking policy. And Dr. Serrata, I admire your commitment to shared governance, but regarding shared governance, in an article by the Chronicle of Higher Education, the truth is, quote, "The truth is that all legal authority in any university originates from one place and one place only, its governing board. Whether it is a private college created by a charter or a public institution established by law or constitution, the legal right and obligation to exercise authority over an institution is vested in and flows from its board. With that being said, we strongly encourage the board to consider going smoke-free. Chairman Haggerty, you said in the last meeting that the board would consider this in June, so we hope you stay accountable to your words. And again, we'll keep advocating for this because we firmly believe in this, and yeah.
Just a correction, it'll be in July.
Oh, July. All right. So, we also honored Ms. Charisma James. As you all may have heard, she was a former SG member who passed away in a very heroic manner. And so, to commemorate her, how much she contributed to SGA, we voted to establish a $25,000 endowment towards the college's foundation for scholarships to assist students who want to continue their education. We also voted to support the renaming of the Veterans Resource Center in her name. And we also voted to establish a yearly $1,000 scholarship for student veterans. This is the least that we can do for what Charisma James contributed to SGA. She was very important to the organization, so we were happy to have done this. Not just honoring her, but also helping out our students with scholarships and funds. Legislative action. So we consistently participated in Senator Jose Rodriguez's Education Advisory Committee. When I couldn't attend, I had one of my members attend. And I want to thank Dr. Graham for inviting us to attend those meetings. And so those are very important. We also engaged with state legislators on introducing legislation. One of the legislators expressed interest in working with SGA on legislation for the next session. It was Rep. Mary Gonzalez. And for the Texas Junior College Student Government Association Annual Conference, so just a little bit of background, it's where all the student government associations from junior colleges come together for an annual conference. They have workshops there, but they also have competitions. And so we performed really well at this conference. We were in sweepstakes. We won first place in best essay, best poem, best community service. We introduced and passed a resolution concerning students who crossed the border to attend EPCC. And we successfully ran for positions of Region 1 President School and State Host School. And so we did really well, and this reflects upon the talent and leadership of EPCC students. And for community service, so we also like to be involved in our community, and we also like to give back to our community. And so we volunteer with the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank, and we accumulated over 50 hours of community service. We volunteered at the La Posada Home to cook meals for the residents, and we also became VDRs to register students to vote. And for the Tohono Food Pantry, and so here are some stats as of right now. So far for the academic year, the food pantry received 5,309 donations from members of the community. A total of 103 students were given boxes of donations. And as you all know, we received a $5,000 donation from Pepsi with the help of President Serrata and State Rep. Mary Gonzalez. And 103 students sounds kind of small in proportion to how many students we have. But that's because we only have one food pantry at the Valle Verde campus. If we could have a pantry in every campus, we can help more students. But and I know space is limited, but either way, one student is an accomplishment. We hope those 103 students were helped by this very important resource, and we're just happy to do this. And of course, student leaders come and go. I was here yesterday, I'll be gone tomorrow, but our message is consistent. And so continuity and sustainability is so important. And so we continue supporting the following initiatives: the Tohono Food Pantry, the Emergency Book Loan, student unions, the SGA Application Fee Initiative, the extended library hours at Valle Verde and Rio Grande, and the SGA Banquet, where we had Mr. County Judge Ricardo Samaniego as our guest speaker. Is he still here? No, he's not here. So yeah, this is all we did, and none of this could have been done without the support of my team. It has been an honor serving as SGA president, but I'm confident that that SGA will keep on thriving. So that concludes my report. So thank you.
I'd like to congratulate you on your year. On behalf of the board and myself, you did a great job.
Okay, cool.
I'm sure I'll be voting for you for some office in the future.
Just give me 10 years. All right. So
No, 5.
I will now shake your all's hands. Okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Good luck to you. You're awesome.
All right, but I have one more thing to mention. I will now introduce to you the new Student Government Association president. He served this year as vice president, and he spearheaded the First Friday Art and Music Show project, which is a critical success. He has been very outstanding and reliable this entire year, and he also has a very firm voice when it comes to advocating for students' needs. I now introduce to you the new SGA president for the 2019-2020 academic school year, Alex Rodriguez.
Thank you, Bren. My name is Alex Rodriguez. Hello. Good afternoon. I'm just going to keep it really, really short and simple. Just a quick story. When I started here at the college, I would actually never imagine myself ever being in this position, so I'm very, very humble and grateful for this opportunity that has been given to me. And I'm going to do the best of my ability to help everyone, and I'll be the best representative when it comes to the student body. So thank you so much, and I'm very looking forward to working with all of y'all. Thank you.
Congratulations.
We're gonna, is there anyone else? Item 1.10, Board Reports. Item 1.10.1, Treasurer's Report, April 30th, 2019. No action is necessary. Item 1.10.2, President's Report. Item 1.10.2.1, Dr. Sarata will update the Board of Trustees and audience on recent events that have transpired at the college.
Chair Hagerty, members of the board, always a pleasure to provide an update on the latest events and occurrences at El Paso Community College. The Trans-Pecos Counseling Association, a chapter of the Texas Counseling Association, has named 2 of our counselors as Outstanding Counselors of the Year. Congratulations to Ms. Carmen Castillo-Attar at the Vallaverde Campus Center for Students with Disabilities, as well as disability counselor, and Mr. Lolo Mercado, our Trans Mountain Campus counselor. Your commitment and dedication to your profession is evident and much appreciated by the institution and the students that you serve. Excelencia in Education, the nation's leading organization in accelerating Latino student success, is addressing the challenge of Latino college completion by initiating a new national effort entitled the Seal of Excelencia, a voluntary certification to recognize institutions intentionally serving Latino students for success based on leadership, evidence-based practices, and the use of data. El Paso Community College submitted an application for the inaugural cohort of the Seal of Excelencia. After a thorough review process, Excelencia announced the list of 20 institutions selected as national finalists, and I'm proud to announce that El Paso Community College is one of 4 community colleges selected as a finalist. The institutions receiving the Seal of Excelencia will be publicly announced on June the 20th in Washington, D.C. Thank you to Ms. Lucia Rodriguez, our Director of Student Success, for the great work that you and your team provided to our students throughout the district. Congratulations on being selected as a finalist for this prestigious recognition, and we wish you the best next month in D.C. I will be with you. The Tejano Empowerment Network under the Texas Education Consortium for Male Students of Color is another great initiative impacting student success and actively involved in multiple events this semester. EPCC subscribes to the same 5 pillars: brotherhood, leadership, health and wellness, college and career readiness, and identity. And all events are focused on one or more of the 5 pillars. On April the 17th, our EPCC student leaders hosted a workshop focused on college and career readiness, where they discussed resume writing, applying for jobs, and professional behavior. The workshop was attended by approximately 25 students, faculty, and staff who benefited from hearing the student perspective on preparing for a professional career. On April the 29th, Ms. Abigail Tarango, the Director of Special Projects and Strategic Initiatives at Isleta Independent School District, invited EPCC to serve on a panel at the YSD Central Office, where many ISD administrators were in attendance. Our 10 Tejano Empowerment Network student leaders did an excellent job sharing their stories and representing EPCC. At the same event, a group of about 10 Isleta Middle School students shared some of very powerful stories and made a direct connection with our EPCC student leaders. On May the 10th, 10 celebrated the end of the academic year by hosting a dodgeball tournament that focused on the pillar of brotherhood, in addition to sharing and discussing the issues affecting boys and men of color on their educational journey. More than 60 students, faculty, and staff attended the event, which included participants from EPCC, including members from the baseball and cross-country teams, UTEP, the Valle Verde Early College High School, the Clint Early College Academy, as well as a group of 10 middle school guests from Isleta Middle School Project Males cohort. In addition to the EPCC faculty and staff on the 10 leadership team, we also had 4 Valle Verde Early College High School faculty and 3 Isleta Middle School faculty attend and participate in the event. Great leadership is behind this 10 initiative and outstanding partnerships with our school districts and community. Many thanks to Dr. Carlos Amaya, the Dean of Architecture, Arts, Math, and Science, for taking on this leadership role and engaging so many of our EPCC faculty and students to benefit the youth in our community. Your efforts are much appreciated. We also owe special thanks to the Valle Verde Early College High School administration and faculty for all of their continued support. Board Chair Haggerty, as well as Trustee Uxer, and I attended the Culture of Caring Conference, sponsored by Amarillo College on May the 20th through the 21st in Amarillo, Texas. We learned much from Dr. Russell Lowry Hart and his team on what they have initiated at Amarillo College, and really has been the leader in leading the initiative with regards to food insecurity, housing insecurity, and many of the challenges that our students face. They're facing the same challenges in Amarillo. A lot of kudos to the hospitality that Dr. Lowry Hart and his team provided. We were under, as many of you who were traveling that day, tornado watches in Amarillo. Apparently they suffer from rain shortages much like El Paso, but it rained quite a bit that day. But it was a great conference. We learned a lot. And I thank both trustees for attending that conference from me. This past Monday was the last day of the Texas legislature, sine die. I'm happy to report that HB 1 was in the black for the college. Ms. Shaughnessy and her team are crunching those numbers that we've received back from the legislature, but we're happy to see that we're seeing a small increase in state appropriations. I'm also happy with the work that Mr. Jacob Freire, the president of the Texas Association of Community Colleges, and his team, along with all the 50 presidents who participated in the session. We are exempt from the 3.5 rollback rate. Our rollback rate continues to be 8%. Not that this board, I remind everyone that this board has raised taxes 4 times in 14 years. We do not take that motion lightly. We only do that when we absolutely have to, but 2 of those 4 times we did raise the tax rate 8% because we had to. We didn't have a choice. But we were happy to see that we were exempted from that rollback rate. I'd remind everyone to make plans to attend the college's 50th anniversary gala on Friday, June the 28th, right here at the Administrative Services Center. Tickets are available through the foundation's website. I look forward to seeing each of the respective board members here with your significant other. Commencement was held on Friday, May the 17th. Dr. Bell Whelan, we had 2 ceremonies. Dr. Bell Whelan, president of the Southern Association of Colleges and School Commission on Colleges, was our commencement speaker. She did a tremendous job. Very moving and inspiring address to our graduates. We had just under 2,000 graduates that we certified this past spring, and about 1,200 of those students walked and graduated. And with that, I believe that we have a video. That's why the lights. We're ready? There we go. Thank you, gentlemen. Welcome to our spring 2019 El Paso Community College commencement exercise. El Paso Community College is proud to be honoring the past and building the future as we celebrate 50 years of student and community impact.
You stand tall and say, I have a degree from El Paso Community College that I had to work my tail off in order to get. You may slow me down, but there is no way you are going to stop me from achieving my goals. And unfortunately, there will be days when you will have to stand up and give yourself that pep talk. Even today, after 46 years of working, I walk in a room and I can tell people are going, who let her in here? And I just say, deal with it, baby, I'm here.
So I received a text from my brother that apparently we do not have gymnastics at our institution because that video went viral and over 5 million people have seen that poor young man who attempted and failed doing a backflip on stage. Fortunately, he was not hurt, and I'm sure he can do a backflip, but not in a gown. So it was a wonderful event, and fortunately, he was not hurt. But thank the board members, all of the faculty, staff, and administrators who worked so hard to ensure that we have a successful commencement. That's what we work for. And that concludes my report, Chair.
Dr. Serrata, I think you need to make some commercials out of that video.
Mr. Ebert and his team do a great job. Please, Ms. Sanchez.
Dr. Sarat, the one item that you had referenced very quickly was the legislative session. I think
Yes.
what I'd like to see, and really maybe in a next board agenda, is really a nice rundown.
Sure.
I know the governor has until the end of June, 30 days from the last day of session to sign. So I really would like to see some highlights on what some significant bills all were, what were passed, what were eventually signed, for the benefit of the public. It's important. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Also, Doctor, I'd really like to reach out to Amarillo College. I'd see if they can come and give their presentation to your team. What we witnessed in Amarillo was something awesome that I really wish we could implement here. And hopefully you can get the doctor to get a program and have him come
Yes, sir.
and talk to your
I
team.
will reach out to Dr. Lowry Hart.
Why don't you give us a report, Judge?
Well, it was 2 days of just awesome. Everyone on the campus was always about student success. They even said the guy cutting the grass, if he saw somebody in the parking lot having a problem, he'd turn the lawnmower off and go over and say, what can I do to help you? So I'd really like to get that kind of program to where everybody, yep, legal.
Sorry, this isn't on the agenda.
Okay. Get me in trouble, Dr. Graham. Well, anyway, it was great. If you could get him to come over.
I will, Judge. I will follow up. I will prepare a report, Ms. Sanchez, for the board, for the June board meeting, and also reach out to Amarillo College.
And I'd also like to get an update on what the college is doing about the board trustee agenda system.
Yes, sir.
We can get an
Software
update.
system.
If we can get an update on that, I'd appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Item 1.11, consent docket. This includes item 3.2.
Hear a motion?
Move to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nahara?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 2.0, administration. Item 2.1.1, the following policy is presented for second reading and/or final approval.
Move to approve?
I was going to, it's policy 4.06.01, investments.
Second.
Any discussion?
I just have a question. Are we going to be receiving any education on this further than just approving the policy?
I'm sorry, Dr. Graham, I did not really hear your question.
If we are going to be receiving any kind of education regarding this policy so that we can understand it a little bit more, those of us that are not used to all this terminology?
I certainly would be very pleased to give you some kind of a, summary of what the policy is about. The investments policy is actually in compliance with the Public Funds Investment Act. It has gone through a rigorous process reviewed by the Government Treasurer of Texas, and it's certified through April of 2020. If you'd like some additional information or presentation, I will be glad to certainly do so anytime that you wish.
Yes, ma'am, at any time that we can get it into a schedule. I think the changes that are being made are very simple and good, just, a little bit more information to understand more the procedures, the process.
Sure.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nahara?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 3.1, discussion and action to approve full-time staff and faculty recruited in positions funded by the institutional budget.
Move to approve?
Second.
Any questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nahara?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 3.3, information items, resignations and retirements. No action is required. Item 4.1, discussion and action to approve a renewal for the Sophos Intercept X Advanced Endpoint Protection and Server Protection Antivirus Software from Kudolski Security in the amount of $63,032.
Move to approve.
Second?
Any questions?
Yes, I do. I noticed that this is under a previously a negotiated contract put by the Department of, DIR, the Department of Information Resources. Is that a Texas Texas-wide agency that negotiates contracts like this?
Yes, sir, that's
Okay.
correct.
And then it said that you negotiate, what happened is that there was a price, and then I guess your department got involved and negotiated down a little bit more?
That is correct, sir.
How much more did you save us?
It actually went down, it was about $11,000 more that we were able to save the college. In addition to that, we also negotiated added value, so now we're able to provide a free software license to employees as well as our students.
Okay, and who do we think, you or Abraham?
You can thank Dr. Hiron.
Oh, okay. She's not here.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nahara?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 5.1, discussion and action to approve an increase to the existing contract with Medlock Commercial Contractors, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $51,500.
Move to approve?
Second.
I have a couple of questions. On this one, we're being, I believe in the backup, and this is again for clarification purposes, we're being asked to approve an increase in contingencies in the contract. But I just want somebody to clarify and verify that it's not the contract that we're doing an amendment on to increase those contingencies. It's just an increase to the contingencies itself. Is that correct?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then the other question I have, I think just for the benefit of the public and after reading the backup says this is contingencies. It's as defined as in terms of what that means. Is there an industry standard in terms of how much we should be approving? Because my understanding is we haven't met that threshold, or there hasn't been an ask yet for those additional funds to be spent on this particular contract. So if you can explain that for us.
So we normally, and I'll ask Mr. Lobato or to chime in to support me on this if I don't answer fully your question.
Thank you.
Technically, anytime that we go for a contract of this kind, we look at a 10% set aside of the total contract to be approved as part of the contract. For renovation project like this one, we really should have asked 15%, but we stayed at 10%. So this is just in anticipation that something might not be, because it is a renovation project, and to avoid any surprises, we'd rather ask you now than have to come back later.
So I guess it's also maybe a timing issue. The board meets once a month, and to get those final approvals.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And again, it's, to be very clear, that doesn't mean we're going to be spending that kind of money.
Yes, ma'am.
We just want to have it just in case that we're having to do those kind of, the project has to be expanded a little bit further.
Okay. All right. Thank you for answering
welcome.
that.
Any other question?
I do. I guess looking at this, 10% would be what, 10,000 to, 10% would be 102,000. So you said, okay, additional 5% is roughly 51,000. So that's, you came up a rough with that.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lovato, do you have any kind of estimate of additional work? Have you made any kind of cost analysis on what might come up?
Well, actually, phase one was probably the most difficult part because it entailed a lot of demolition, which uncovered a lot of items that weren't able to be seen without the demolition. So we used probably about 72% of the contingency on that. Phase two does not have half the demolition or much demolition. I don't anticipate actually needing it, but I wanted to err on the point of caution. I'd rather have it, not need it, than need it, not be able to use it, and possibly have a delay in the project because of that.
Again, do you have some sort of, is it plumbing, or is it drywall, or is it?
On the first phase, yes, it was plumbing, drywall, roof drains, a floor that had rotted out. Like I said, the second part is it's an open area. I don't anticipate it running into anything else. We might have a few floor drain and or roof drain issues, but nothing major.
So you haven't done any in-depth analysis, you're just thinking, hey, I want to be cautious?
Well, it's kind of difficult because until we start tearing the place out, without having some sort of demolition, you can't see. But like I say, since there is not very much demolition, I don't anticipate having to use it. Okay.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Naheda?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 6.1, discussion and action to approve the purchase of a digital version SimView server with accessories for a complete computer system and peripherals from Lardell Medical Corporation in the amount of $111,793.
Move to approve.
Second.
Any discussion?
I do have a question. I read the description and I still don't know what it does.
Dr. Graham, thank you. The software system and peripherals that are in this item tie into our simulation dummies for the nursing program and allow the instructors to provide specific feedback to students related to their performance on whatever scenarios are programmed into the dummies.
So like if they're given CPR or something to one of the, it will provide feedback for the students?
Correct. It'll provide feedback for the instructors to go over with the students.
Okay. So do you hook it up to this, what do you call it, mannequins?
Yeah, this is a set of hardware and software solutions that ties into the simulation mannequins that we have now.
But do we already have the mannequins, or is that
We
all
do.
come together?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
Yeah. If we have the mannequin, how come we're just now getting around to getting the software, and we get the whole thing started with?
Well, we're able to provide scenarios for the simulation mannequins, but this system will allow us to record the performance and the feedback for later perusal. It'll also help us set up the simulations in a more productive manner for the students.
And just out of curiosity, are there multiple software solutions, multiple software packages? I think, yeah, this is mostly a software package, right?
Yes, sir. I would have to defer to those that are procuring the system to see if there were additional components that we didn't.
Well, no, I just wonder if there's somebody else, or if this is almost a sole service, some unique provider.
The system does have to tie into our specific simulation mannequins that we have now, yes, sir.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Naheda?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 6.2, God bless, discussion and action on the affirmation of a contract with the DoubleTree by Hilton Hotel Durango for the hosting of the annual faculty retreat in the amount of $54,735.
Move to approve.
I have a question on this item, a couple of questions. First one, what does it mean by affirmation of a contract? Are we just approving a contract, or what is there to affirm? Was there a contract or a negotiated rate that was put in place beforehand? Because this is an after-the-fact approval. The retreat already took place the 21st through the 23rd. Is there someone that can answer that question? No?
I can speak to a little bit about the after the fact.
Yeah.
The word affirmation was suggested based on the fact that it wasn't done ahead of time.
Okay.
And so you're basically acknowledging the fact that the expenses were made after the event happened.
Do you all have a cutoff date in terms of when participants can confirm their attendance, so that at least there's like a set budget amount that the college can prepare for or allocate? I understand that there was probably an increase, which is a good thing. We want individuals to participate, but was that contemplated, or is not, do you not do it or approach it that way?
Yes, absolutely. We've got cutoffs for attendance.
Okay.
Unfortunately, this particular item, there were some costs that the increase in attendance weren't accounted for until we realized that after the fact that it was going to go above the $50,000 threshold.
Okay.
I might share with you briefly that the actual cost of the institution is well below $50,000. The faculty participants who go to the retreat on their own time, it's after classes are over in the spring semester, pay back part of the funds for their housing and travel. And so that actually gets reimbursed to the college. But because we had to front to the hotel, above $50,000, that's why you're seeing this item.
Okay. Thank you.
And I would like to see in the future an agenda. I'm just curious to see what you all, that you don't just go over there and have a grand old time, that you actually work.
Yes, we'll be happy to provide that in the future.
I think that's a good idea, particularly during budget time. What I'd be looking at, I mean, it's really not to nickel and dime anything. Certainly appreciate the fact that faculty needs to recharge, reflect, and participate in these kind of retreats. There is definitely a value to that. But what I think just to be mindful of is what's the agenda like? What are you all coming back with? What is something that you can share with those that perhaps did not attend? And then, of course, just for the board's benefit, to get a grasp and understanding of really what this investment means to the college and, of course, to the students that you all serve. I think it would be a great idea.
Certainly happy to do that.
Thank you.
And it's a great idea to continue doing it, just, clue us in on what's going on. So if somebody asks, how come you approve all that money? Well, this is what they did.
I talked to Dr. Serrata about this for a moment, and I think what I'd like to see, and I mentioned to him, is some creative method so that you don't face a budget consideration that finds out after the fact. Let's not limit the people that go there, but let's somehow come up with a procedure that says that everybody can participate to the fullest extent.
And I think that's exactly right, Mr. Exer. We've already taken steps to make sure that it was largely a training issue for the staff that was doing the contract with the hotel. And so we've already taken steps to correct that.
And I agree with that approach, Mr. Uxer. I think that's wise. We don't want anybody to limit that participation. But what I also think is that during budget time, you have a very specified amount that's been budgeted for these type of events. And so what we're not dealing with here, but what I don't want to see in the future is funds being taken away from other budget line items to make up for that difference, because it was open-ended. I mean, I really think if we need to stick to a date, we stick to a date, and impress upon faculty of that, and I think they would appreciate that as well. But certainly understand we don't want to limit anybody either. Thank you.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Naheda?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 6.3, discussion and action to approve a new contract with Education to Go, a Cengage learning company, to provide online instruction in an amount not to exceed $50,000.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions?
Yeah. I don't understand online instruction. I mean, is this for the instructor's benefit? Or is
No,
this
sir.
electronic text for the students?
A little bit different than electronic text. So this is for our continuing education programs, and it allows us to offer a broad range of course offerings that we may not have the faculty to provide that expertise in the classroom. And so these are curated online 6-week courses that and to-go packages. They're a component of Cengage, the publisher Cengage. And so these are self-guided programs, courses that we offer through continuing education.
So we have no problem with SACs or anything like that?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other question?
And how do we verify that it is a sole source? Because, you know, I've had that question before. Anytime we have sole source, I don't want to get in trouble approving sole source and then find out that they were not sole source.
Oh, that's a great question, and I would probably defer to Mr. Ruben Gallardo for that.
That's, Dr. Graham, that's one of the more difficult things, more difficult parts of my job. How do you verify that something does not exist, right? In other words, how do you verify that that second source doesn't exist? In this particular case, we used our connection with Cengage. We have an existing relationship with Cengage, and we also use the fact that their software, Ed2Go software, is copyrighted and otherwise legally protected. That means that for the particular functionality that Mr. Smith and others are seeking, they are the only source legally that can put that together and make it available to us because of their copyrights and other protections that they offer, like they state on their letter. We do go out of our way to it's very easy for a salesperson to tell us that they're the sole source, but we insist on an officer of the company making that written statement to us. So you'll see that the letter in the agenda is signed by an officer of their company. You'd be surprised how many times when we tell them it has to be an officer that they bring back their statements, that they're a lot more controlled, they're a lot more careful about what they're saying. So once we get an officer of their company to make that statement in writing, we feel a little more comfortable that we're probably dealing with a sole source. In this particular case, that was helped because of the copyrights and other protections that they have.
And I know many times we hear presentations, at least we do on the Texas Workforce Board, of the online classes that are being offered in the industry, and they're online, so that's why I'm hesitant to, anybody can come up and say, we're sole source, and then we vote on it, and then later somebody says, no, it's not sole source, there's this and this and these other companies. So I guess my question would be, what recourse do we have if we find that out, that they're really not sole source?
I would defer to legal counsel to answer that. I'm not sure that they're prepared to answer that here in today's meeting.
No, we can just look through it later on and
what legal recourse do we have when if we find out that somebody is not a sole source, even though they've made a written statement that they are?
Okay.
And I think one of the considerations is that in terms of if they end up, and just speaking from past experience on this issue, is that it's really other potential vendors that can come and make that complaint to say that there, the certain procurement provisions in the law were not followed, or it really didn't meet that standard, or quite frankly that the vetting was not done properly by the administration to get there. But there is that buffer, if you will, of that representation that is made by faculty, by the company, and of course by our purchasing agent, procurement officer, that makes that determination and verifies its sole source status. The only other question that I had on that was whether or not, do you take into account the investment that the college makes in a particular item to reach your sole source determination status?
We do. In that case, and the law, the particular law that I'm referring to, Texas Education Code 44.031, makes reference to a captive source. And so if the district, for example, our Ellucian Banner software system, we spent countless dollars. We spent a significant amount of money to purchase and implement that system, and many, many hours, I am told. This was done in the late 1990s and early 2000s, I'm told. For us to abandon that effort and those costs and the cost that ultimately our taxpayers and students bear, and switch to another software system because we don't consider it a sole source, we would take that decision very seriously before we made it. So I hope that answers your question. I think that was a roundabout answer, but I hope that I've addressed that.
Yeah, I think you did. I just want to be sure that we're cautious about the sole source. And very thorough.
Yes, ma'am. If I had to make an estimate of the ones that cross my desk, I'd say 20 to 25% never make it to this board because they're even though they've been submitted as sole sources, we find that they're not.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nájera?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
No.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
Item 7.1, discussion and action to approve the continuing education tuition rates for new courses.
Move to approve 7.1 and 7.2.
Second.
Can you read in the second question, please? There is a motion for both.
Item 7.2, discussion and action to approve continuing education tuition rates for revised courses.
I have a question on that one, and how do we figure out what those rates are? How do we make that determination?
So we do a couple of things when we're calculating the cost of the course. So if we have to procure curriculum, we'll include that in the cost, but principally it's designed to cover our costs.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Any other questions? Call the question.
Mr. Uxer?
Aye.
Ms. Sanchez?
Aye.
Mrs. Robles?
Aye.
Ms. Pena?
Aye.
Ms. Nájera?
Aye.
Dr. Graham?
Aye.
Mr. Haggerty?
Aye.
We're going into executive session. The Board of Trustees may conduct an executive or closed session pursuant to the Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code for one or more of the following reasons. 1, consultation with its attorney to seek or receive legal advice or consultation regarding pending or contemplated litigation or for any purpose authorized by law. 2, discussion about the value or transfer of real property. 3, discussion about a prospective gift or donation. 4, consideration of specific personnel matters. 5, discussion about security personnel or devices. Or 6, discussion of certain economic development matters. The board may also announce that it will go into executive session on any item listed on this agenda if the subject matter is permitted for a closed session by provisions of Chapter 551 of the Texas Government Code. Any vote regarding these items shall be taken in open session. Ms. Sanchez, do we have to read the other items? That's the actual topics.
So yes.
Discuss the amendment to Dr. William Sarata's employment contract to allow the investment of his approved annuity through an Internal Revenue Code 403B plan. Discuss EEOC charge regarding Maria del Carmen Hasso pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. Discuss EEOC charge regarding Jose Salazar pursuant to Texas Government Code Section 551.071. Did you find what you were looking for? Did you find?
Okay, call us back in session. Let the record show all the trustees are present.
7:43 p.m.
I'd like to make a motion to make the next meeting on Friday, the 28th. Since we have the gala anyway, why don't we just come early
That's
and do this on the 28th?
June the 28th?
What
Is that
time?
good?
I would prefer the 27th. If you all can't change it or do it, that's fine. I don't want to inconvenience anyone.
No, I'm not going to be, I
prefer
won't
the
be here on the
27th.
26th or the 27th. So
Okay,
that's why I
okay,
said the 28th.
okay.
So
Yeah, I just-
28th, what time?
Gala starts at 6, Joe.
At 6. so
Isn't
we
that
need-
hard for everybody else, though? I mean, the staff and,
Whatever, you want to
It's a
leave it?
question.
We took a vote on Wednesday, on the fourth Wednesday of
Or if
every
you
month.
all just want, I mean, I was gonna be the only one out on Wednesday, but if you wanna keep it to that date, that's fine. I just,
No, you and I both will be out on
oh,
that
you're
day.
gonna be out that, okay, sorry, excuse me.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
okay.
Well, so your motion is for the 28th?
My motion was for the 28th, but,
Could we do it
There's
at
no
noon?
second.
Is that too early for folks? Noon?
fine.
For the rest of the board? I don't know.
For me, it is on a Friday at noon, but, I mean, I can come and go back, I guess.
We are
Make it
scheduled
at
to
least-
also have,
I don't get back in until about
didn't touch
3:28,
it.
3:30. I'm gonna be back in time for the gala. So let's just keep it on Wednesday, the 26th. And Dr. Graham can run, she'll be the vice chair.
But Ms. Sanchez, you're not.
Yeah, I won't be
She's
here.
not here.
I-
Can we move it to the 24th?
I can do the 24th.
No,
Oh,
I'm gonna
no,
be
you're
gone
not
the
gonna
whole
be
week.
here, Ms.
I
Sanchez.
I'll be in
won't.
training.
Never mind, I'm gone. I'm sorry.
Can we move it to the 19th?
I will not be here.
Dr. Sarata's out of
Sorry.
town on the 19th.
Leave it.
Just leave it the fourth
Do
Wednesday.
do we need a meeting in June?
Yeah,
We were gonna have a budget workshop,
yeah, you have to have a meeting.
a facilities meeting, and a regular board meeting that day. That was gonna be the first budget workshop.
Only two of us won't be here, so the rest
Well,
of,
no, but she wanted to be here because of the budget. That's the problem, Judge.
What if we did the budget workshop on Saturday?
Oh, yeah,
the 29th?
I could do Saturday.
Let's do-
29th?
I can do the 29th.
And we
Can
could
we do that
probably even
29
do the
maybe?
facilities meeting that day if we had to, but for sure the budget workshop, and then,
What time on the
Why don't we
29th? 9
just have
o'clock?
the meeting on Saturday and include the, yeah, and include the workshop and everything on that one day, rather than having it on that
I agree.
day
Yeah,
just
that's
for
a
the
good
budget workshop.
That's a good idea.
That's a
So,
good idea.
I would recommend that we just have the next regular meeting with the budget workshop on the 29th of June.
Is that a motion?
So there was no second on judges, so
His motion
Okay.
fails.
What time?
What time on Saturday? 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock is fine.
All right.
and you wanna have, do you wanna have the budget workshop first?
9 PM.
yeah, I'm like, I am not a morning
Um,
person. Can we do 10?
Uh, what order do you wanna go in, sir? Budget, facilities,
Budget,
and then
then
regular meetings?
facilities.
That's the day after.
Budget, facilities,
That gives us
and,
more time, which is
yes.
good, in particular with two board members that have gone through the budget process. Good.
Yeah, I think they should be there for the budget.
And you wanna start at 9 AM?
yes,
Yeah,
9
let's go
AM.
9 to 10:30 budget,
I'm gonna cry.
Okay,
10:30 to 11:30 facilities, then we'll take a break for lunch.
do
and then we'll
12.
have- And then we'll do 12:30
Yeah, we'll get out
to
late.
the regular board meeting.
See, they won't get out too late.
Bonnie wants to start at 10.
PM. No, it's fine, it's fine, I know it's hard for everybody.
The
Okay.
gala's the night before, so I need everybody to,
That's what I
That's
said.
right. The game.
9 o'clock's fine with me.
Yeah, good for me. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Bonnie?
Why not? It passes anyway, but yes.
Okay, the 29th it is then.
9 in the morning, 9 AM on Saturday.
The 29th. Great.
That
All right,
works.
good work. Have a good trip.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion
the
to
budget
adjourn?
workshop.
Motion to adjourn, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?